It's Sunday morning in our house today, which means that all the kiddos are home and the house is bustling with activity. Summertime for our family is all about savoring the weekends, spending quality time together, and getting the house in order. So I wanted to invite you into our home for some summertime homemaking. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get prepping. I love that Sunday mornings in her home are usually slow and calm. We slowly trickle down into the kitchen to start our breakfast, and today we were all in the mood for some cottage cheese pancakes, and of course everyone wanted to help. The cookbook that I'm using here is called The Dairy Gourmet. I got this years ago and it have some really good recipes inside. I mostly tweak this recipe, but I wanted to actually take it out so that Aviva can practice her reading. It's so amazing how far they've come from last year going into the first grade. So we took the book out. I actually didn't have enough of the farmer's cheese to make the full recipe, so I'm going to be cutting the recipe in half. Into the bowl right there, I added in 1 package of the farmer's cheese, the one that has no salt in it. And Aviva has become such a pro at cracking eggs, so she's going to be doing that. She's going to be cracking in 3 eggs. If you've seen my previous video of the very first time that she cracked eggs in my dinner prep, it was the cutest thing. She got so many comments on it. But ever since then, she's just been a pro at it. To the pancakes next, of course, we're going to be adding in some all-purpose flour, and I will leave the exact recipe in the description box for you, of course, so check it out if you want the full recipe. Being a part of a large family, Baruch Hashem, does have its challenges with sharing. We still struggle with sharing all the time, but we definitely get lots of practice in our house. As you'll see in this video, I do try my best to clean up as I go because it really helps me to not get overstimulated. As a busy mom with all the little ones in the kitchen, I tend to get really overwhelmed when there's just stuff everywhere. So it just helps me. Are you guys the same way, or do you prefer to make a huge mess and then clean it up all at once at the end? Let me know in the comments below. Half of us are usually still in our pajamas at breakfast, and to let you in on a little secret, so am I. I just got dressed up a little bit for you guys today. That's the best part about Sundays, the lack of pressures and schedules, so we definitely do savor it. While I finish cooking with the little ones, the big ones usually set up a table. Now that breakfast is over, it is time to tidy up. The kids are usually at this point playing in the backyard or in the background somewhere in the house, while I take my time getting the kitchen in order. A woman in Judaism is considered to be the foundation of her home. We are the nurturers and givers in our families, and I absolutely enjoy fulfilling my role in my home. I surprisingly get quite often the comment of it being totally unfeministic and not progressive that I take care of my family. But although I do work outside of my home, there is nothing that I value more than being able to be a wife and a mom, and I consider it a complete blessing. Before I get too far into getting the house in order, I wanted to take some time and make myself a delicious cup of coffee. I've been enjoying iced coffees now that it's been so hot. Let me know in the comments if you still like your coffees hot or cold in the summertime. My big kids usually alternate washing dishes, but they were having so much fun. I didn't want to disturb them. Trust me, the dishes never end in our busy home, so I'm sure they'll have plenty to wash up right after our next meal. For lunch today, I wanted to do something interactive and fun with the kiddos. Because usually on busy weeknights, I don't always have the time for the kids to be so involved in the kitchen. But on the weekends, it's a bit easier and slower. So I thought of doing something cute with them today. If you haven't already guessed, I decided to make some pizza dough with them. And I thought it would be very cute for them to all make their own personal pizzas and top them with their own toppings. So I'm going to be placing into a bowl 2 cups of room temperature water, 1 tablespoon of yeast, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And to that I added in 4 cups of all-purpose flour, followed by a 1/4 cup of oil and a teaspoon of salt, followed by 1 cup of bread flour. I mix the dough really well until it forms a perfect dough shape, and I place it back into the bowl. Of course, I oiled it a little bit on the bowl and over the top as well. And I let it proof for not even an hour. It did really well because there was an entire tablespoon of yeast in there, and I did that purposefully because lunch was fast approaching and I needed to feed my little kiddos. But if you have a lot of time on your hand, you can definitely decrease the amount of yeast that you'll be using. While I'm waiting for my dough to rise, I just wanted to go quickly into my garden and check on my vegetables and everything that I'm growing. I'm so curious how many of you here grown your own vegetables or herbs in your backyards or even in your own kitchens. I'm so curious because I don't think I've ever asked any of you about that. I'm really a beginner in gardening. I've tried it a few times in previous years, but I'm just learning as I go. I initially got help by setting up my garden from my brother. I call him the garden whisperer because you should see his garden and his plants. They just grow so beautifully, and I didn't realize it was because he was using really good soil and he actually composts. So that was one of the things that I've always wanted to do. I wanted to get into composting. So I am so happy to be partnering with Lomi today. Although my brother did an excellent job setting up my garden initially, in the end, it's all about maintenance and how you take care of your garden and how you give it water and the soil that you give it and the sunlight that it gets. So I really am so excited that I'm having my Lomi here helping me out. And I've always wanted to have a beautiful, lush garden and grow things of my own. And I've just never been successful at it. I would always get like one or two things every year, but I wanted this bountiful produce. So I'm so super excited for what I'm going to be seeing this year. Lomi is basically a composter that usually sits on my countertop, and instead of dumping all of my scraps and garbage into my garbage can and having it rotting and smelling up in there in the kitchen, I put everything into my Lomi, and the Lomi transforms my garbage kitchen scraps into gold at the push of a button in under 4 hours. It turns my waste into nutrient-rich dirt that I can feed to my plants and garden, which helps me grow more nutritious food right in my own backyard. Using Lomi also decreases our personal carbon footprint by reducing the amount of trash that we are throwing away. So instead of me throwing them into the garbage, I'm just utilizing my Lomi and throwing away my food scraps into it. And this is what it looks like. After it's done, I simply take the nutrient-rich dirt that Lomi just made. I go into my garden and sprinkle that all throughout all of my herbs and vegetables, and I'm just so happy to see the whole transition and how lush and beautiful my garden is becoming. Whether you want to grow a beautiful garden or just start making a positive environmental impact, Lomi is perfect for you. Head to lomi.com/Sonya and use the promo code Sonya to get $50 off your Lomi. At this point, the dough has doubled in size and we are ready to make our pizzas.
It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Nights without sleeping 'cause you fear the night.
They were really excited when I told them we'll be doing this, and as you can see, to make it a little bit easier for them, I did do a quick pre-shape for them because I know it's going to be a little bit difficult with the dough sticking. So I think that was the right decision, and of course we didn't want to mix up our doughs and our pizzas, so I had them write down their names on the parchment paper.
It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Don't feel the cold, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you.
My little chefs had such a great time creating their very own pizzas, and of course I made my own as well. We used toppings like tomatoes and basil from the garden, some pickled jalapeno peppers, and homemade pickled onions. I would love to know in the comments below what kind of activities are you doing with your kids in the house? Are you doing a lot more home stuff with them? Are you taking them out more? We can all use some ideas while the kiddos are off from school. So leave your comments and suggestions down below. Look at some of their amazing creations. I am so proud of them. So basically, I cooked the pizzas in a 450-degree preheated oven for about 15 minutes. That's all I needed because they were quite small, and it was perfect, and we absolutely enjoyed every single bite. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't have to do some sort of laundry. I unfortunately got some pizza sauce stains on my shirt, and I find that using less oil really helps with removing oil stains. But what product do you guys recommend? Because I don't always find less oil in the stores. It's quite hard to find. So I'm curious what you have found that works for you. Let me know down below. As the laundry was going, the kiddos were playing in the backyard, and I couldn't help but stare at our gorgeous hydrangeas. I snipped a few of them and I placed them into vases that you'll see to decorate my home. I love these little touches. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video into a day in the life in a summertime homemaking with me. I hope you enjoyed the recipes and got a sense of what I guess I would do in the summer with my kiddos. Don't forget to use the discount code Sonya for the Lomi for $50 off of your Lomi. And I'll see you all next time. Happy prepping from my family to yours.